Hello and welcome to this very special interview. I've interviewed Sachin many times in my life as a journalist and perhaps for about 100 and more hours as his co-author. But for the first time, having written the book, to talk to you, I don't know, should I ask you the question? Should I say when we wrote it together, it's a very different one. But finally, the book is a reality.
Thank you, Boria, for having me here. And thanks for those wonderful moments. You know, we've spent 3 years together trying to put everything together in this book. Thanks for all the hard work, all the efforts that you've taken.
Pleasure was entirely mine. We'll wait for our readers to tell us if they like it. I'll start this interview with 2 questions. One, your highest point, the World Cup win of 2011. Second, your lowest point, the World Cup defeat of 2007. We've talked at length about 2011. In several of your public interviews, you've talked about your highest point. But in the book, you say 3 of your teammates did something very special for you. Why don't you tell my viewers what you did and what they did for you?
See, the highest point was definitely the World Cup. But once we got back to the room, I remember the whole hotel was celebrating, not just the hotel, but the nation. But once we got back on our floor, all the room doors were open because that one particular floor was for players. All the doors were open. There was champagne flowing everywhere and loud music going on. Anjali was with me. Both of us went to my room and the doors were open and we both had flowers stuck in here and having champagne, and we both started dancing because, you know, it was such a massive moment in my life, something which I'd waited for 22 years. And then from there on, the party continued. We went on the, I think, the higher floor somewhere, I don't remember, 17th or 18th floor, where one room was booked for us. And that is where Harbhajan.
If I can ask you this in Hindi, that 3 of your teammates, इन्होंने आपके लिए कुछ special किया था. हरभजन and आप बताइए क्या किया?
हरभजन, युवराज और विराट कोहली, तीनों ने वहाँ मेरे लिए गाना गाया था, तुझ में रब दिखता है. और मुझे बेसिकली एम्बैरेस किया था, मैं शर्माया था. Obviously I said कि what are you guys doing? क्या कर रहे हो यार तुम? नहीं, आज गाने दो, आज मौका है गाने का, गाना है, हम तीनों को ये गाना गाना है तुम्हारे लिए. और they all sang. I mean, it was बहुत एक स्पेशल मोमेंट था मेरे लिए, जो मैंने मेरे किताब में लिखा हुआ है. किसी को पता नहीं होगा ये, मगर ये एक मोमेंट ऐसा था कि मैं लाइफ में नहीं भूल सकता हूँ कभी.
And when you went back home after that, and you've written about that as well, and you met your mother, it was very special.
Yeah, when I went back home, my mother was there to receive me, and you know, for the first time actually I felt that I have done something really big and I've come back home. There have been number of occasions where, you know, records were broken and new records were created and all that. I was happy, but I never had this feeling. This was, winning the World Cup was something really special. And then mother did aarti to me, and then put tikka and gave me a sweet to eat. I've never had that feeling, and I was literally, I mean, I was proud of myself. Entering the house, I felt that I've achieved something and I've come back home.
From this high, you know, if I take you back 4 years to 2007, already the world is talking about, since the publication of the excerpts a few days back, the world is talking about your statements on Greg Chappell. I mean, obviously it must have hurt you, the way you opened up to me when we were doing the book together. That Greg Chappell period was one of the darkest in your career and in Indian cricket, isn't it?
Yeah, it did hurt because, you know, I personally felt that Greg wasn't the right person to do the job. And to put it in short, he took Indian cricket behind. We were in a very good position when John ended his stint, and then from there on, you know, gradually the downfall started. The atmosphere I felt in the dressing room was something that I had never experienced in my career, and cricket was not enjoyable anymore. I didn't particularly enjoy, and if you ask my teammates, barring maybe 1 or 2, the rest, 13, 14, would speak the same language as I am speaking, that the environment was absolutely something that we didn't want.
But Sachin, what was most shocking to me was those statements that a coach a few months before the World Cup comes to the best player's house, or arguably the best player's house, and says, you become captain, we'll take it from Rahul, and you and I will rule Indian cricket. That's surreal to believe.
Yeah, I mean, many people would find that difficult to believe, but it actually happened where, I was offered captaincy and I said, this is the last thing I would want to do, because, everyone is prepared for a particular captain, and Rahul is the one who should be leading. And I don't want to take over just before the World Cup. It was not just before the World Cup, but I would say a few months before that. And I declined, and possibly that didn't go well with him.
When we are on Rahul, the other thing that in the book everyone's sort of going to talk about is Multan, the 194. Will you want to sort of just tell my viewers what exactly happened, or does it still rankle you?
See, I mean, there are disagreements, and there are quite a few disagreements in the team, in the dressing room, in the team meetings, whatever. But they are always behind the doors. There was one disagreement which happened, that declaration, it happened out in the middle. And whatever I felt, I spoke to Rahul and I got it off my chest. And, for us, we both had moved on. I'm so glad that, after that, we've had some amazing partnerships, some match-winning partnerships together. And above all, we've continued to be good friends. So for us, we had closed the chapter there and then. Once the match was over, we forgot about it. And we moved on, and we ended up winning the series. So I don't think, yes, there was a bit of disagreement, but it ended there and then.
Let me take you away from cricket, because the book is not about Sachin Tendulkar, the cricketer, but about your life as well. The world waits for you, for your interviews, for where you go, for your fans. But at one point in time, you waited for Anjali for 40 minutes, kept driving up and down Bandra. Why don't you tell my viewers what happened?
Well, I mean, when we were not married, and at that time, none of my family didn't know about Anjali, and Anjali's family didn't know about me. So we had to sort of, time exactly how to meet, and those were the days where mobiles were not there. So, from Bandra to Warden Road, it was a reasonable drive. Someone like Arjun, my son, will not understand, because he's grown up where Sea-Link is there, and within 5 minutes, you are in Worli from Bandra. But before that, to get to Worli, you would take about good half an hour or so. And from there, another 15 minutes to Anjali's house. So she wasn't there. So I couldn't even go to a public booth to call her. What happened? Why aren't you here to meet me? So I had to drive back all the way to Bandra, make a phone call. Okay, I'm going to see you again in 40 minutes, and go back again to meet her, just to spend some time with her and come back home. But those were the days where, mobiles were not there. So thank God now mobiles are there.
And is it true that she was the one who actually went and spoke to your parents about the wedding?
Yes, because I was not prepared to, be so upright and be so open with my family and tell them that I want to marry now. I said, if you want to marry me, you're more than happy to go to my parents and ask them, I am ready to marry you right now. If you tell me let's get married tomorrow, I'm ready. You do it. But I don't know whether I'd be able to tell my parents and face my brothers and sister. I'm not ready for that yet.
From there, because your family, now that you mention your family has always played a very pivotal role. While we keep talking about your parents, your aunt, your uncle, that how instrumental they were in propping you up, there is this incredible story about the golf ball and your aunt. Tell my viewers about that story.
I had so much energy that in spite of practicing for hours on the field, I still continued playing at home.
And this was when you were, how old were you?
In the living room. I was
10, 11 years old?
11, 12.
Correct.
11 actually. And I had one golf ball with me. So it was slightly out of shape. And then I got this idea of, taking a blade and shaving it from one side and I made that ball completely out of shape. It was more or less oval shaped ball, so that it would change directions. And I would get my aunt to sit on a chair near the balcony, and I would be on the other side of the living room, which wasn't really big, but I would be at the other side of the living room, and I would tell her, okay, now chuck balls at me. And wherever the ball went, I would pick up the ball, give it to her, go back, play the next ball. But the whole idea about that was, I sort of learned to play with soft hands and go on my toes, because being vertically challenged, that was another challenge which was going to be there for me to face for the rest of my career. And that's where I sort of learned to play back foot defense with soft hands, because the golf ball would fly off the bat, and I didn't want cupboards to be broken and those kind of things. So also, it put less stress on my aunt, because chucking 100 balls a day was not an easy job. All she had to do was just find the right direction, and the ball did the rest of the things, because the ball was out of shape. So it would change directions. I mean, it was some form of entertainment, and later on I realized, oh, this may have played some part in my technique, where I figured out to play with soft hands.
एक चैप्टर जो बुक में हैज़ रेज्ड कंट्रोवर्सी, जो आपने कहा है अबाउट कैप्टनसी, कि देयर वाज द कोटा सिस्टम, तब भी आपको टीम, आपका चॉइस का टीम आपको नहीं मिलता था, सिलेक्टर्स डिड नॉट गिव यू प्लेयर्स. आप ज़रा बताएंगे क्या होता था कैप्टनसी, व्हाई weren't you successful? एक आपने कहा है कि वेस्ट इंडीज़ और साउथ अफ्रीका के 2 टूर्स में यू डिड नॉट गेट द टीम ऑफ योर चॉइस. व्हाट हैपेंड?
नहीं, जैसे टीम उस समय चॉइस का ऑब्वियसली नहीं मिला था जितना चाहिए था, वैसे कोई प्लेयर्स मुझे चाहिए थे, वो नहीं मिल पाए थे. मैं काफ़ी अपसेट था, क्योंकि मेरा इंटेंशन एक ही था कि मैं टीम को ग्राउंड पे लेके जाऊँ, मैच जितवाऊँ और वापस आऊँ. तो उसके लिए आई थिंक तुम्हारे मतलब की टीम होनी भी बहुत ज़रूरी होती है. अगर मैं कैप्टन हूँ तो मैं उन प्लेयरों को ग्राउंड पे लेके जा रहा हूँ, तो कोई तो अंडरस्टैंडिंग होनी ज़रूरी होती है सिलेक्टरों के साथ. उतनी ट्रांसपेरेंसी और अंडरस्टैंडिंग नहीं थी, जो मुझे पसंद नहीं आई, क्योंकि मेरे दिल में एक ही इंटरेस्ट था, भारत को जितवाना, और कोई मेरा दूसरा और कोई गोल नहीं था लाइफ में. तो वहाँ पे थोड़ा एक सेटिस्फैक्शन बिल्कुल मिला नहीं मुझे, और जिस डायरेक्शन में मैं टीम को लेके जाना चाह रहा था वो हो नहीं पाया.
You've got some very nice words about 3 people who are now the batting mainstays of this current Indian team. Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, because they have all little parts in the book which people don't know.
Yes.
Virat Kohli, Ajinkya Rahane and Rohit Sharma. Tell my viewers about that.
Virat, after my last test match, Virat came to me in the dressing room. I was sitting in the corner, and I was still somehow trying to control myself, not shedding tears and those kind of things. And Virat was also emotional, and he gave me a box. I asked him, what is this? So he said, when my father passed away, just before that, he had given me these kind of threads which we tie, God's threads, and this will give you good luck. And I didn't find anyone worthy enough to keep this, and I feel you are the person I should give this to. And he touched my feet, and I said, why are you touching my feet? Please don't do that, you're like my younger brother. And he said, I respect you, and we will miss you. So I kept that for a day, because at that time I told him that I was really emotional, and I said, Virat, just please go, leave me alone. And I again started crying because I was emotional, and that made me even more emotional. The very next day I was having, in 2 days I was having my retirement dinner for all the friends and players, and that's when I returned that to him, and I said, this is your father's memory, you should never part with this, you should always have it with you, it will bring you all the luck in future.
The book basically is the story of the first innings of Sachin Tendulkar. 40 years of incredible international cricket, 200 test matches, every record in the book. You are now as if on a canter at the start of your second innings as well, because when I speak to you, you are now in India, then in England, now in this village with your social commitments. What can the second innings be like? What should your fans expect, people expect, this country expect from Bharat Ratna Sachin Tendulkar?
Yeah, the expectations from me continued till the time I had cricket bat in my hands. And beyond that, now that I've started my second innings, the expectations continue, and rightly so. The first innings was about my personal enjoyment, exciting moments on the field, and those kind of things. And the second inning is about giving as much as I can to the people who've supported me for such a long time. And it's all about satisfaction, my satisfaction of giving things. In this, I've planned two verticals. One is that I've been associated with NGO called Apna for last 20 years now.
And we are donating parts of the book.
Yes, I mean, we've promised 25 lakhs minimum. Hopefully, I should be able to give much more than that, and I would be so happy if I'm able to give more than that. And it is for women empowerment. It is about allowing the disadvantaged communities to have a fair platform to build their careers, to realize their dreams, and giving them a better life. So that is one vertical. And the second vertical that I'm going to support, which we've already started, is Spreading Happiness India Foundation, which is about lighting up villages, as many houses as possible, and because there is no electricity, and it's hard to believe in 2014 life sort of comes to standstill after sunset, and till the sunrise there is not much happening in their houses, and it's something which disturbs me. So we've already been able to light up almost 6,500 houses. The vision and the dream is to light up the entire nation.
As I close this interview, it's about the book. Sum it up in one line, and I'll close it. One line.
I've played it my way, so I would stick to playing it my way.
He's given happiness. He will give happiness and continue to do so. It's been an absolute pleasure doing this interview. More importantly, to be able to write the book with Sachin Tendulkar, India's greatest cricketer, with Bharat Ratna Sachin Tendulkar, and most importantly, a very dear friend who I have come to admire, come to respect, and come to revere. Thank you very, very much for speaking to me, Sachin.
Pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you.